What's up, upstanders? Dr. O here, and I'm I'm asking this question with respect because I actually have a lot of respect for what he has done. But I'm thinking in 2025, I'm just wondering is James Carville, Democratic strategist, still relevant, as relevant as he used to be? And what I mean by that is that I see him as one of the people who are still being called up for these segments. I see him on Fox, I see him on MSNBC, I'm seeing him on YouTube and all of these different spaces. And I'm just trying to find out like what has he really done as it relates to building the Democratic Party since the 90s. I think that his famous phrase, it's the economy stupid is, still always going to be relevant. I feel like he is somebody who is definitely relevant as it relates to institutional knowledge, and we need institutional knowledge whether you like what people tell you or not. We need to know the history of what happened in 97 and 2005 and so on and so forth. I think that's important to be able to go to people to learn about it, but I find it problematic the way that some of these networks and individuals are like banking on his advice, as taking it as like the word of God or something. And there's a couple of things that have happened recently that just make me really question even some of his judgment on some things. The night before the election, I remember watching him on MSNBC, and he was confident that Kamala Harris was going to win. Had a smile on his face, talking about, I think she's going to take it. The next morning, oh, the Democrats are weak. They don't know how to speak to the people. They don't sound like normal people. Like all down the list, like he was warning them the whole time. It was like he was like some type of "I told you so." But the night before, you're like, she's done a great job and she's gonna do this thing. And that was like night and day. It wasn't even like a couple of weeks later. And then recently, I see him say things like, okay, Elon Musk is going to turn out or have a bigger Democratic turnout than Barack Obama did. Yeah, okay, I get where you're going, might be going with that. But the other thing he said recently was that the Republican Party is going to collapse in 6 weeks, and Democrats should just, like Democratic leaders, should just shut up. He talked Elizabeth Warren, all in like, shut up, just stop talking, just like, and I'm like, what the hell? Like, for real? Because a lot can happen in 6 weeks for people losing their jobs and losing their health insurance and losing their benefits. And I thought the Democratic Party was weak, so now they're not supposed to be talking? Which one is it? And then, last time I checked, there are not going to be any elections in 6 weeks. So if the Republican Party crumbles and Trump administration crumbles in 6 weeks, is that when Democrats should start speaking up? Is that when they should start having plans? Like, what does that even mean? We got midterms, less than 2 years from now. Like, that's the next opportunity for Democrats to make a big move. Unless you're talking about a bunch of recall campaigns of all of these guys and Congress folks across the country, what is being silent for 6 weeks and being, strategically patient for 6 weeks doing? No, we want to see Democrats out there fighting for us. We want to see them speaking up. We want to see them at the rallies. We want to see them at the protests. We want to see them daily calling out this fascist government that Trump is trying to do. And if Democrats stay silent, it's going to be a problem for them. But I will tell James Carville and everybody else, we specifically want to hear from the newer Democrats. I'm not saying older Democrats are irrelevant. I'm not saying that. I like when people like Chuck Schumer and Maxine Waters, who's always represented, I love when they speak up. I'm never the type to say elders go away. I'm not saying that at all. What I am saying is that there are so many new voices that the Democratic Party needs to continue to prop up. Obviously, Chris Murphy's been around, but he's been more vocal. I feel like I run down the list like every other day. But when you look at the Max Frost, when you look at the Jasmine Crockett, the Ayanna Prestes, the Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, I know people call it AOC, and I say it sometimes, but oftentimes we need to give people their respect, put some respect on their names. The Ilhan Omar's, like, those people need to continue to also be built up. Some of them ran for leadership positions that they lost. Now some say because of seniority and so on and so forth. But look, the Democratic consulting class is one of the reasons why Kamala lost the election. I don't know where James Carville stands in terms of his what he gets paid for doing nowadays. I don't know. But what I do know is that as it relates to the definite strategic advice on telling Democrats what to do, I don't feel like he really represents where the party needs to be going. I don't even know what he's done as relates to strong electoral politics in his home state. Like I just don't know. And so like if I had James Carville sitting next to me, I would pick his brain about so much because he's been there and he's seen a lot. And I'm never going to be the one to say discard our elders. But I see him being propped up now in a way that I consider to be problematic when we need so many fresh, new democratic perspectives, not just from the politicians themselves, but from the new democratic strategists, new, I do this work as well, right? Like, that's what we need. And if we don't do that, we're going to put ourselves in the same situation that we were just in. Because the consulting class are some of the people that doomed Kamala's campaign in retrospect. And those guys still collected their checks. They're still relevant in the party. Roland Martin talks about this all of the time. And all of that needs to change. And this is a great time to start doing that. So Democrats need to continue to speak up. These media outlets need to make room for new Democratic strategists. And I'm not saying new Democratic strategists who just decided to put that on their LinkedIn page today. I'm talking about Democratic strategists who've been around for years, but just haven't been getting the respect and attention that they deserve. And there are some new voices out there who've been doing things locally as well that should be propped up as well. And if we don't do that, I feel like there's going to be more problems to come. But saying that Democrats should also wait 6 weeks sounds like it's coming from somebody who's kind of comfortable, right? And a lot of folks are not comfortable right now. A lot of folks don't have 6 weeks to wait in anxiety if they're going to lose their job or lose their health insurance or have to pull their kids out of school. The students I'm seeing on AU's campus who talk about some of the challenges they're dealing with at home, students at other places that I'm speaking at, they don't have 6 weeks to wait. People want to see lawsuits and they want to see attempts that Trump's making happen, get blocked now. They want to see the, USAID reopen now. They want to see Consumer Protection, Bureau. They want to see that reopen now. Like, who has 6 weeks? Was it Susan Sarandon who said the first time Trump was elected something to the effect of maybe we can handle this or something? Like, yeah, no. So this is a time for new voices. This is not time to dump the old guard. This is a time to let the old guard continue to advise us and to have their respect and place as the elders in our community as they're mentoring new leadership. But putting prominent people like that, or formerly prominent people like that in these prominent spaces, I think is problematic. I don't see him out there rallying. You see Reverend Al Sharpton. Reverend Al Sharpton's out there rallying. He's out there speaking to the people. He's clearly an elder in our community, respected elder, whether you like his politics or not. But Reverend Sharpton keeps his hands on the pulse of the people. You can see him with young people. You can see him with older people. You can see him with, folks in the middle. I don't see that with James Carville. Now, of course, Reverend Sharpton is an activist. James Carville is a strategist. So I get it, two different types of things. But my point is that there are a lot of elders in our community, in the Democratic community, that we do not need to discard or disgrace. Representative Auntie Maxine, like, there's no question about it. So don't get it twisted. I fully believe in where we need to go as relates to keeping our elders as our advisors. But I'm saying I don't feel like James, and I can't even remember the last time they brought in somebody like a Maxine Waters on some of these networks. She should be on there every day talking as well, along with the Crockett's and everyone who she's inspiring. So I'm just saying, y'all, if we're trying to get the midterms, if we're trying to get, 2028 as well, we need to really look at our strategists. We need to look at the consulting class, and we need to look at making sure we're uplifting, new voices, because we need new blood, new energy. That's what needs to happen right now. And if we don't do that, we're going to have the same circular problem. And I'm not convinced we'll be able to even get the midterms if something doesn't happen right now. And any of these other consultants out there saying we need somebody who talks like normal people and all of that just keeps disrespecting Kamala, who talked in a very normal fashion, but that's a story for another day. James Carville has a place, but I don't feel like the prominent role he's been given is helping us right now, and we need to switch that up. What do you think? Holla at your boy. Let me know in the comments. And, hit that like button. Let me think, let me know what you think. All right, y'all. Peace.